Hello, everybody, and welcome to my breakdown and analysis of our team set from Nationals this year. Fortunately enough, you won't have to watch me the whole time. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. My camera's having some trouble. So anyway, we got our video back from Nationals. We taped all three events. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and play them. I'm just going to hang out the whole time. If you all want to ask questions, there's plenty that went right here. There's plenty that went wrong here. Talk a little bit about our strategies, breaking the lanes down, so on and so forth. And so, yeah, I figured we could just hang out for a while, take a look at it, and talk about it. So I am going to go ahead and put the pattern up on the screen. There was nothing too surprising here. We figured that since they swapped the pattern lengths, it used to be that the doubles and singles was the longer pattern, was between 42 and 44 feet, and then team was always 38, 39, 40, something like that. A couple years ago, they flipped that, and so the team pattern is the longer one now, and the doubles and singles pattern is the shorter one. Also seems like they flipped everything, because it used to be that double and singles was a little softer. Team was the one that you really had to work together, break down, whatever else. And now it seems like double and singles is the tough pattern. So it's 42 feet long, 27.2 mils. They did use fire. I had thought that they used ice because of how significant the carry down felt. And it was especially pronounced in doubles and singles. And I think that's a lot of what caused people a lot of problems. So I'm surprised to see that I was surprised to see, we've already talked about these, but I was very surprised to see that it was fire. The forward reverse total is almost equal, 15.5 forward, almost 12 reverse. Forward oil generally is a little easier most of the time without spending a whole bunch of time to get into that. Something else interesting is there's a very long buff zone. So you can see that the oil it ends about 29 feet, 28 feet, 29 feet. And I guess if you want to look at all the start, stop, the loads, the whatever else, it stops at 29 feet. And then what is on the lane is just buffed. They call that the buff area, the kind of lighter blue there, from 29 to 42 feet. And so there's not any more oil being applied there, just it's being pushed a little bit or just kind of spread out by the lane machine. So that can make it tricky on lighter volumes. On heavier volumes, it tends to actually help blend it a little bit front to back, so you don't get the ball screaming sideways down lane and then end up having a bunch of carry down. This played softer than what it felt like on paper. We knew it was going to look somewhat similar to this on paper, but there was defined friction kind of to the outside. We didn't need to spend near as much time breaking the lanes down as we had in years past. It felt like they were already sort of ready to go, so to speak. Or just to put it in a different way, they were much more scoreable right out the gate this year than they have been in a long time. So that's a look at that, and we're just going to go on ahead and get into this, and I'll keep talking and answering questions and whatnot, but I'm going to go on ahead and push play, and we'll kind of talk through this.
Bowlers, please hold up. Please hold up. Warm-up is over.
I didn't really think that anybody wanted to sit through 10 minutes of practice. And basically what we did I'll let him finish talking here.
The video recording and live streaming policy posted on bowl.com.
Hopefully everybody can hear me okay.
Bowling Stadium. We are ready to begin competition. Bowlers, when your lights come on and your arrows appear on your scoreboards, you may begin your event at the sound of the bell.
So the basic idea of what the righties did in practice, I keep saying we, but my experience in practice is a whole lot different now. The righties, I believe we had half of them burn up a little bit more towards the outside, And then we had, that's Aaron Ramsden on the right lane there. He's been in our group for several years now. Also Jason Crouch here on the left lane. He's been in the group for a while. Buddy of mine going 20 years back probably. We had about, so there's 8 righties. There's 2 lefties. And I believe they had half the righties kind of trying to burn the outside, and then half of them throwing plastic or urethane kind of right up 15. So again, they were fairly scoreable to begin with, and so we didn't need to really do, or they didn't need to really do a whole lot. But having a little bit more friction to the right and a little bit more hold in the middle is never a bad thing, and so they did that for 8 minutes, and then with 2 minutes left, everybody gets lined up, and then you just go for it. It seemed to be that trying to stay right as long as possible. That's Ryan Klaus on the right lane. He's gone with us for a couple years now. David Waswo, the Bowler Show. That's the guy. It's just a bit outside. But again, there was some dry boards on the gutter, provided you slow rolled it like that. He had the kind of the perfect matchup. This is Derek Lewis on the right lane there, and then Bruce Thoman is on the left lane. This is the first year that Derek's gone with us. Bruce has gone with it, but Derek's in Wichita. He's just a couple hours down the turnpike, so we pulled quite a few other things with him. Bruce has been on the team for a handful of years too. Getting up here on the right lane is Dallas Baldridge. Used to be from the Kansas City area. I think he's in Springfield, Illinois now, where Chaz is. It'll be up here in a minute. Dallas usually just, bulldozes these things over, but he hasn't bowled a whole lot lately, so he didn't get near as much work in as I think he hoped to. I can't remember. We'll see. I can't remember how we did in team. Of course, James is about ready to get up here on the left lane. But there was a little bit of hold to the inside, a little bit of friction outside, and it kept you. It wasn't easy, but it kept you honest. You weren't really going to get away with a whole lot of things, but it felt scoreable. And again, what we'd seen so far was that staying right as long as possible was the best idea, because like I mentioned earlier when we were talking about the pattern, watching everybody else universally, Chaz is the other lefty there on the right lane. Universally, people were getting in too deep while we were watching. We normally get there a couple days ahead of time. We always kind of listen to scouting reports, but we went in April this year. Normally we go in July, and so we've had months and months to talk to people and whatever else. But we normally get there a couple days early so that we can just kind of watch live and in person and see what we see. And it looked like people would get in too far, and then all of a sudden the stuff would start to wiggle down lane, and then basically they were just taking something somewhat challenging, not terribly difficult, but somewhat challenging, and made it a whole lot harder by shoving a lot of oil into their back ends. So then all of a sudden they'd go to move back right, the ball would hook early because there was plenty of friction early. This is something that happened to me. I'm not going to blame my first game on this. I just a lot of poor execution, but you can see in the balls are getting stuck. This happened 9 times in the first 12 frames, and it happened to me like 7 of those times. So every time I get up there, I'd pick the ball up. Oh, look, we got balls back there, and then we could never find a lane monitor, and so we just get up there and ready to bowl and just stand there for 3 or 4 minutes. But that's kind of what our game plan was try to stay as straight as possible, as long as possible, because people were getting too deep, too quick, blowing out their back ends. And normally that's what they would do in years past when the pattern was tougher. That would be the classic mistake, is that it's like, oh my God, this is really hooking, we have to move in. And then all they do is they push a bunch of oil into their back ends. And then they try to move right, the ball stops and hooks instantly, they move back a little bit left, and so they've taken something clipped or something already kind of difficult and made it a whole lot harder. And this was soft enough that you had more stability, you had more hook out towards the gutter. I mean, you saw that Waswo got his out to 2 or 3 board at 30 feet, and it came back. Catch up with the chat and then we'll talk here. Oh, and then this guy. See, I was very optimistic after that first shot. Yes, how much did they charge to record the shot or record the set? James did answer that. So I'll go ahead and put it up on the screen for those watching later. How much do they charge to record the set? I might talk my team into doing it next year. You can see Dave got a little bit more steam on that one. So again, it keeps you honest. How much do they charge to record the set? I might talk my team into doing it next year. Yes, and James said in the comments here, yes, I think it's like $190 for all 3 events or something. So it's a little egregious. Hashtag no photos or video, or no video at nationals for integrity. Now, once again, I'll keep going through some of these names here. This is Aaron Ramsden getting up here on the left lane. I did this a couple years ago when we got the recordings from like 2019 or something. He was the guy in like the plaid collared shirt or whatever that everybody kept commenting on. It's like, oh my God, that guy looks like he's having a rough day. He had a rough first game, and it was just everything that could go wrong was going wrong. Bruce Thoman once again on the right lane. It's a good recovery from 4-3 or 4-4 the first frame. Yeah, 20 to 25 bucks a person isn't too bad if you can get everybody on board. Some people don't really care about it, and if you think about it, it's kind of a lot of money for somebody to go turn on a camera and give us video in 720p uploaded to Vimeo, and which I had to render this first team game because the formatting and size was all messed up. So just kind of crossing my fingers on this one. All right, you think any of the Bull Expo balls would have worked great on this pattern? The Clone and Tour Dynamics definitely would have been big considerations for nationals had they been out. James is throwing a Nova. You can see the balls are stuck again. Could be a recurring theme. And then, of course, once we get down to the end of the set, we are the last team that ends up getting done because we had 9 ball return calls. Yeah, and it took several minutes for the first several times. Then once we had like 7 or 8 of them, they sat somebody down on our pair and watched. And then, of course, it never happened again. But yeah, we're the last team, the last pair in the building getting done, and of course, we have all the people on the concourse staring at us, and must be the good bowlers taking their sweet time. Like, nope, that's not always the reason. Sometimes stuff like this happens. Comment from James here on our breakdown procedure. Yeah, see, they have lane monitors sitting. This is like 2 minutes already. We have lane monitors sitting there. Most of the time, this stuff doesn't break down. Most of the time, the lane monitors have a very boring job because they keep this going so well that it, if something does break down, they're right on it, and they have several mechanics back there and whatever else. Our problem was we couldn't find a lane monitor. I don't know what had happened to ours or whether we were walking around doing whatever. Every single time we had to chase somebody down. So yeah, that was our that was the righty strategy for breaking the lanes down. I paid full price for absolutely everything. The other lefty had purple hammers, and so on the team pattern, I probably could have thrown reactive. I probably could have done just about whatever I wanted to, but I thought, okay, well, there's going to be some carry down. I have a ridiculous look with my pitch black, straight up 5. I'm just going to throw that, and then I threw it, and then I couldn't execute because it was early enough. There was an awful lot of friction outside. There's an awful lot of friction outside, and so I needed to be soft with my hand to get it down the lane, but also still catching enough to get it to kind of walk up. But basically what it was getting it down, 30 feet down the lane, just being soft with it and floating it down 5. But it being soft with my hand and also throwing it a little harder than I'm used to. I never really got comfortable until singles. The Bowl to Bowlers Journal, something felt off. We bowled 2 team practice sessions, had a good look, felt off, and then just again in team and doubles, I was just off. I don't know if it was tight or something mechanical, whatever, but I just got loose in singles, and singles went much better. I think I'll be streaming singles and doubles tomorrow at some point for those that are interested. Yes, Jonathan, you did spot a Cosmos. It was just way too strong. There's an answer from James in the chat. They did seem to be having a little issue with the footing. So you can see there that Ryan, when he was shooting at his 3-pin a second ago, he kind of got off balance, and then Dallas shooting at his spare got off balance there too. And see, this is the same thing. This is Chaz ended up figuring it out later, and I got marginally better, but my first game was just, I dug myself such a hole that there wasn't a whole lot. Well, of course, I paid for absolutely everything. I think I only missed 1 makeable this set, but I had like 8 splits. Everything that wasn't hitting the pocket was a split. Yeah. If you'd have frozen the video when Waz's ball got up to 3, I would have bet the mortgage it was going to land in the ditch. That's the old TNT. The TNT looked mighty fine for Dave and team. So yeah, Chaz and I both had the same idea. He's obviously a career lefty and quite a bit better than I am. But it does make me feel better when I run ideas off of him or say, what are you seeing? And he's seeing the same thing, or when we end up in the same area of the lane. And he did help me out in doubles and singles with kind of what we did to start with. And that kind of really opened it up for singles, made singles very, very nice. A logical voice spent all day detoxing bowling balls. Yeah, it's weird to watch you before throwing your shot. Yeah, I have this kind of weird crouch thing that I get down into. So you can see, again, from Ryan there, normally the righties don't have that. They don't have that kind of peel it off the ditch look in team. That's what the lefties do. But there was, again, it was playable. Heck yeah. Get him down. Good shot by Derek. Yeah, it's about time for another ball return call. We've only had 2 so far. Bruce wins with best dressed. Integrity. Yeah, it cost $100 for a 240p. Yeah. Yeah, it was in 720, and my first one was like a 4-3 letterbox or something with bars at the top, and so I had to render it out, or else you guys were going to be seeing a much smaller picture, a much smaller square picture. You would think that, but no. This is how the raw video looks, because they filmed it in 720 and uploaded it to Vimeo, and you download it from Vimeo. And so this is exactly how it looks. Let's have a golf clap for Steve G. He's a real one. He figured it out. If you need a lane monitor, you should have pulled out a phone. You would have found one immediately. Ain't that the truth? It is safe to say that, yes, the return issues... It's safe to say that the ball return issues can mess with your rhythm. Okay, so it's seeming that you're not seeing it in the quality that I'm seeing it in. Hopefully that should clear up once we get to the second game, because I had to render this video again, like I said, because it came stupid. So apologies for the picture quality. I was afraid this might happen. It's happened with what I tried to do before, or when I've tried to do this for other things before, but since we're not exactly like trying to key in on the nuances between, and yeah, that one I just olayed. I think that's my only, I think I might have missed a 3-9 too. Hi. Woof, go get Mama. Let me talk to Mama. So yeah, the ball return issues definitely didn't help, but something was just not quite right, and I'm a little past stuff like that rattling me. Once you bowl so many tournaments, you get here, and everybody's got no matter how good you are, you've always got kind of the adrenaline going. But I think the nerves or the jitters kind of turns to adrenaline, and so both of them can, be very unhelpful. But I'm kind of in the stage right now where I'm not expecting anything of myself. Like, I'm just trying to go out there, especially bowling on something like this, as a lefty instead of a righty, and trying to still, being still in learning mode. I'm just trying to go out there and not embarrass myself. So there's nothing, there was nothing for me to really have nerves about. It just, nothing, it just didn't feel right. You can see that there's, just from watching some of these, that the misroom inside doesn't show up until a little bit later once we get a few games on the lanes here, but there was an awful lot more friction up front than we felt like we should have had. It was a whole lot more common for the ball to start hooking too early then too late. Yes, attire is polo and slacks. They do require they have a weird policy because you can wear jeans as long as you're wearing a collared shirt, but if you're wearing a mock collar or a crew neck, you can't wear jeans, you have to wear slacks. But they allow crew necks if you're wearing slacks. It's weird and annoying, and especially at 7 a.m. when they haven't had the air conditioner on all night and it's 87 degrees in there for the 7 a.m. squad. We need to allow dress shorts. The women can wear skirts, skorts, slacks. You know, they can wear all kinds of things. And we have slacks.
Coke, water, and a Sprite for 49. Pay 49.
Good question. Can you bowl this event more than once in a year? James did answer it in the chat, but for those that are just watching this now or watching this later and not don't have the chat running, Nationals is a one-time go. Now you can bowl the side stuff. You can bowl the Bowler's Journal as many times as you want. I think you can bowl the BTM tournament as many times as you want. We actually bowled 2 of the team practice sessions also. So it is too bad that we can't see the scoreboard during this. I don't want to see it for myself personally, but it would be nice to be able to see what the scoreboard is doing while we're actually bowling. Ken says wear a kilt. Yeah. See, this is the idea. Like that, just what Chaz did right there. That's the idea. That's exactly what I was trying to do. That looks like a good one. That was pretty good. But that was the idea, is just walk it down 5 all day long. And if I did that, if I would have just done that, I had a little bit left and I had a little bit right. If I got it in a little bit, it would start hooking. But if I was soft with my hand, I was fine. As long as I just kind of kept it in front of me. But I couldn't do that. Royal Crest 7-pin for Mr. Crouch there. I did really well on my 7 pins. I was quite happy with that. I think I missed 1 or 2 in the 9 games, possibly. I think they were both. I think I missed 2 of them. They were both in doubles, or they were on a fill ball or something, or just a, I'd strike first shot in the 10th and then 7 whiff or something like that. We didn't really matter. Yeah, there's another footing issue there. Feels like we're due for another. Yes, this is the National Bowling Stadium where they filmed the end of Kingpin. Get it down. Hear Dave's daughter cheering in the background there. So at this point, we're 4 frames in, I think. About halfway through the first game. Everybody's sticking to the plan, and it's easier to stick to the plan because in years past it was, guys, we just have to. Team used to be, you had a very specific plan for the first game. You absolutely had to throw chalk up 3, 4, 5, build yourself a bumper, stay right absolutely as long as possible, develop a track first, even if you kill your first 6 frames or you just surrender or make an offering of your first 6 frames to the bowling gods at the expense of your score. You had to get the lanes developed for the last 2 games. You just had to. This year, they were a whole lot easier for everybody to kind of stay where they needed to stay. The lanes ended up opening up really nice. James, forgot about this. I tried to re-rack because the 3-pin was wretched on lane 49 for my 5th frame, and I couldn't. Yeah. Interesting. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think that I think they have them disabled. I think you have to actually ask lane monitor for a re-rack. Hook. It was very speed sensitive. It wasn't as left to right sensitive. It was more front to back sensitive. That looks like that was pretty good. Oh, no. There was also several times I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good. And like I said, I probably could have thrown reactive. I probably could have done something else, but my look was so good. I had this stuff like this, and it hooks a little bit early, and then everything's a split. I don't know how you leave this as a lefty. I guess I do, but that was a great shot. Of course, most of the time when I try to make that, I either just put it in the ditch or just pick off the 7-pin. So getting the I wasn't realistically going to pick that up, so just getting 2 was good miss. Good miss. Yep, sticking to the plan is then strategy for systematically breaking down the lanes. Yes, I'm not good at strategy. Yes, typically, again, it wasn't quite this way. I think everybody started moving in a little bit earlier than would be typical, but the lanes were fine, and everybody, I think, did it slow enough. They didn't just make some huge jump. So I think everybody took a shot or 2 testing the waters and ended up being fine. And because we were able to stay right for so long, I think everybody got kind of everybody got a track worked in there. And just generally speaking, there was a whole lot more early friction. So again, as long as you didn't throw it out the window or just throw it way too hard, generally speaking, it was pretty good. See, that one started up pretty early. It was almost like a house shot in some senses, because if you were, outside of second arrow, there was again, Chaz throws it better than I do, and so he's going to get a lot of those. When he throws it good, his started hooking early, but that's what he's going to leave there while I'm leaving splits. But if you were outside of second arrow, there was a whole lot more early hook. Just as soon as you laid the ball down, it was kind of like a house shot in that regard, to where you almost had to get in a little bit just to clear the fronts, because it was very tricky trying to clear the fronts without just going full yeet, throwing it out the window. I think we can talk a little. I took a bunch of stuff that I don't ever end up throwing. I take reactive stuff, and I have not yet, as of yet. Well, I threw. Very first year I was a lefty, I threw the promotion for team. I shot 620 in team with a promotion. And then the rest of the time, I threw a pitch black the entire time last year, and I threw a pitch black for doubles and singles 2021. I threw a pitch black for all of team here, and then I threw the Zen U for all of doubles and singles to also answer James's question. The Zen U looked a lot better. It looked really good for me in doubles and singles. The problem is that doubles and singles was only like 23 mils. I think I tried it on this, and it was just a little too wiggly. There was just a little bit too much volume for it, so that's why I opted for the pitch black. I had a little bit more over/under with the U, but I had such a good look with the pitch black on this, and just couldn't get it right. Obviously, Dave there is throwing a TNT. I also brought a Cosmos. I brought 2 promotions. I can't even remember what else I took because nothing else even made it out. I think I threw everything in the team practice session, but realistically, I figured out pretty quick. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna be this idiot dragging in 8 balls again. 6 of which are reactive and then never throwing them. So I don't believe that I ever need to take more than 8 balls to nationals again, and probably just 6. Probably just load up on urethane stuff and take a promotion and a Tour Dynamics or a clone or something like that, and then just all day. Don't know what Derek's throwing a gem, I believe. Bruce, I believe that's a IQ Tornado Pearl. Dallas was throwing Ramsden's Eternity because Dallas brought 2 balls. Dallas brought 2 balls, and actually he was having an issue with like the switch grip or something, and he ended up throwing Ramsden's Eternity, and he said Ramsden's ball actually fit better than his stuff did anyway, so it's funny how that works out. See James getting a little bit of loft to try to clear the front rather than moving deeper, and yeah, that was, you don't see a Nova take off like that like ever. Blasphemy. Nothing looks awesome. Nothing looked awesome on the DNS pair, especially in doubles. Doubles was wretched. I think doubles was wretched for virtually everybody. I believe this was James was trying to no spare. I think James was still on the no spare ball gang at this moment. Charles. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. He got that a little bit out, but he stayed out of trouble. If he got a little bit in, he stayed out of trouble. Just his speed my speed needed to be where his speed was at. Because we were both doing the same thing. We were in the right part of the lane, doing the right things, and my speed was just a little too slow. You see that one. I olayed it just a little bit, and it didn't pick up. Well, like I said, I paid full price for absolutely everything the first game. If it could be a split, it was a split. I think I had 4 or 5 of them the first game. Yep, gave that one a good shot too. That was the, I should have thrown plastic at this, but I am not great at throwing plastic at stuff like that. And so I'm going to throw my pitch black at this, but I also want to make sure that I give it room, because if I get around it, it's going to stop and hook into the right gutter. And I gave it room. So, you know, positives. Always got to focus on the positives. Ramsden was throwing a DNA, and he just, that's the old, yeah. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, it was not very left to right sensitive. It was very front to back sensitive. I think you can see that if you got too slow, it'd go nuts. Brooklyn, if you got a little fast, it would never see it. If you got your speed right, then you had probably 3 boards. You had a board, you had your target, and then you had a board right and left of your target, if your speed was correct. All right, we are a little past the halfway point of game 1. I know this is super enthralling watching a bunch of people that you don't know, but it's very educational. And this is one of those things that you don't really have to know who's bowling. This was the great thing about when they used to do the live streams. Even if you didn't know who was bowling, they were generally pretty good bowlers, and you could watch and pick up and learn things. And I think that we have enough good bowlers bowling with us that you can pay attention, you can watch everybody, whether you know them or not, and pick up things and learn things. And he knew pretty well instantly there. He got it, Ryan there on the right lane, he got it a pinch in. Maybe got a little grabby with it. That'll hook. Go. And you can see even something like that where, you know, Bruce gave that a lot of room pretty quick, but it hooked at 30 feet. I mean, you could see it actually get traction, stabilize, and hook at 30 feet. So we definitely had plenty of friction in the first 30 feet of the lane. That was the Achilles heel, too. There were a lot of missed makeables for both teams in team. And I think right here is where James realizes, because we talked throughout the whole thing, and it's like, you have to stay right as long as you can, but I think that was, on that shot, it's kind of like, I have to move. I just, I mean, yes, 5th or 6th frame, whatever, I have to move. I believe he changes balls right here. I am not sure. I know that I'm betting he changes balls because the Nova isn't really built to cover boards. So I think that he knew or was prepared. This is another thing, is knowing your arsenal this well. Say the Nova through the second shot of the 10th frame. He knows that he doesn't have... That's pretty good. See, all I had to do was that the whole time. How easy was that? I mean, you're a lefty and you can't walk urethane down 5. Tisk. No, those cover. The ZGL might be fine, but the Duo is just too strong of a cover. And I think it would have been too flippy for something like this. I think that I think like a hype solid with little bit of surface on it, because again, James was throwing a Nova, and the Nova has a very weakish cover. It's like R2X. It's R2X. R2X hybrid, which is in the bottom third of the Storm's cover strengths. And if a Nova's digging too early, you've got problems. And the ZGL and Duo have much stronger covers than the Nova does. So, definitely needed to, yeah. He said, okay, also the move here was left, not shell down. And I think that's more evident from how early, because he wasn't in that big of a shell to begin with. And so just not being able to clear the fronts, that's we're going to move left first. Brooke. And with something like the Nova, he knew that he was going to have to be careful about moving left, because it doesn't, I was saying a second ago, it does not move left well. Yeah, more footing issues. That was, again, a common theme. I think that was the cause of a lot of the mismakeables in team, was just footing issues. I wish that I could have blamed some of mine on footing issues, but I never have footing issues anymore. Unless my timing sucks. But I do not have approach issues anymore. So. No slide gang. Oops. Faye's had a nice little trough there the first game. As long as he just kind of kept it in front of him, he's always been pretty good with his hand at the bottom. He can do quite a few things. He can make the ball dig in and hook early, or he can get a bunch of revs on it, but still get a lot of push. Shot from Ryan. Explanation here from James. Even me choosing to not get out of the Nova after that 3.610 was a choice of I'm probably on borrowed time, but I think I can get to 210, 220 with this and just hit the pocket. That's also something else important to look at, because we're in the 6th, 7th frame, and you know that you need to make a move. Probably the better choice is to make a move with a ball that you're already throwing, that you know what it's doing, rather than going to a new ball completely, because most of the time when you go to a new ball, even if you know what you're switching to, the first couple shots are educated guesses. The first couple shots, you most of the time burn at least one shot on each lane when you make an adjustment or you make a ball change. When you make just an adjustment with the ball that you're already using, safe. If you just make an adjustment with a ball you're already using, you have a much higher success rate than you do with switching balls. Exotic gem, nope. A little too straight. Pretty good shot from Bruce. Yep, 10 back. I think this was the point everybody kind of started to settle in. Kind of starting to get there. Footing was better on that one, so naturally that's a make. little bit of a move left, and that wasn't exactly how he drew it up, but it was a good shot. He hit the pocket. That would have been a 7-10 on that would have been a little unfair. But again, that's one of those. Nova doesn't exactly like to cover boards, so that's the knowing your equipment thing. You can't always move left with everything. You can't always move right with everything. Great shot from Chaz there. Exactly what we're trying to do. Put it down 5. Just zip it down 5. Let it walk up. There was plenty of friction. There was nothing that we even had to try to do anything. It's just like be soft, get it up 5, let it walk up. I got that one in a little bit. I needed to open my shoulders up a little bit, but I was kind of scooping it when I did that. So trying to make sure to keep my shoulders square because I didn't want to, I'm trying to throw it up 5. I don't really want to open them up there. But I got it in a little bit, but because I actually got it off my hand clean, it sat there. Yeah, it's really 75th place is crazy. Any top 100 at nationals where there's whoa, peeled off the one board. So yeah, that's pretty nice there. Part of it too, GSX pin setters like this, or GS pin setters like this, tend to really like the dump truck, the 5-pin ball reaction strategy, and the Nova's pretty good at that, so I had a good chance of success. What he means there is just kind of hitting the pocket somewhere, splashing them. Just get the ball going into the pins the right way, and it doesn't matter so much where you hit them. It's a pretty good chance it's going to go down. So at this point, he's like, you know, I need to make a move, probably need to switch balls, but I know that I can hit the pocket with this ball the rest of the game and probably put up something pretty decent to start off with. Then when we get a fill ball, then we can figure it out and make a change at the start of the first game or at the start of the second game where it's not gonna hurt you so much. Even if you have an open or two in the first couple frames, you're still going to be in really good shape for the rest of the game. That stuff hurts a whole lot more in the middle of the game. Actually, Winter, I do this intentionally. So for the people that are looking / paying attention or whatever, even though I haven't released my Eternity report card yet, I went ahead and put it in a couple of playlists, and so it will show up under those playlists, even if it's an unlisted video. So for those that are paying attention and looking, you will get to see some things early. Yeah, a lot of 4-pins from the high rev guys, and that's just the thing, is that the ball was digging in very early. No hook. Shot from Derek. So yeah, they were lots of early friction. Lots of early friction. That was just a pinch in, and that's why he tapped his chest. He just got it in a little bit. But again, that's one of those, would much rather 4-pin than get it out in 2-8-10. So, again, he's smart bowling here. Smart bowling. There are some times when you need to just make a decision and make it now and just, push the chips in and let the cards fall how they will. This is not one of those situations. This is one of those stay clean, put a nice number up on the board, and figure it out in a minute. Let's take a picture of Walter Ray bowling and got chastised. Yep. There we go. Charles. Yeah, anytime you pull your phone out, even because they don't know whether you're taking a picture or video, and they don't wait to ask and find out. They just jump all over you. That was pretty good. There we go. All right, so after, I think I had 65 in the sixth or something like that. And then I put a turkey up there, 7, 8, 9. So I thought, okay, I can save this game. Save this game. We can get out of here in decent shape. Good shot by Jason. Gem or reality, two-handed lefty, high revs and speed match, debating on which to get. Probably the gem. The reality is really, really flippy. Now, the gem is very early and tanky, but I think that's, in general, going to look better for a lefty. Reality was just always too much. I actually like the gem. It was just too strong for me. But the reality is just too much boom, and it's forward, too. So when you try to get up the back of it to get it down the lane, then it wants to straighten out. Good shot. Good shot. Yeah, Jason was really, really dialed in the first game here. I think he shot 240 something. He's kind of stayed out of trouble and had a 5-6 bagger here to finish game one. What's up, Memphis? Great shot from Ramsden. And anytime Ramsden shoots 150 plus the first game, that's a win. And he gave that one the business, but that was the fill ball for 245 or 246 or something. So we're not worried about that one. A good shot from Ram. And when Ram has this type of look, and it really did at this point start to look like a house shot, especially when these guys started moving in. Waz has got that really unique roll where he kind of spins it a little bit and he catches it, but it's a clean catch. It's not a grabby, slow catch. Any danger of the gem getting axed anytime soon? I don't think so. Possibly. It's the clone is no competition for it, so I'm not worried there. The Eternity Pie, I think, is going to be closer to a reality DNA, a little bit cleaner, sharper, big, solid. The gem is a chuggy, tanky, hooky solid. There's nothing else that really overlaps it right now. So if you're looking for that type of ball reaction, the gem is still the one to look at. But it has been out for almost a year and a half now. I think that they did what they did with the clone to try to not step on its toes, because the clone's in the same line and it's polished. So That's kind of funny because most people I know love it. It looks good for everybody around here, and the pros love it. So, yeah, I think it's just a that's probably it's just a your area type of deal, like they're saying in the chat. Oh, that explains it. Guess they didn't know how to throw it buckets everywhere. Yeah, it was probably trying to use it on lanes that were too dry, and so the ball was hitting the lane and burning up. It will do that if you have a bunch of friction. Oh, good shot from Ryan. There was a pinch in, but pretty good shot from Bruce there. Good shot. Hit the pocket. I'm bowling in a house with less volume on their house shot. What would you recommend? I'm bouncing between a high solid and hustle rip. Probably a rip or possibly even a hyped pearl. If you got lower volume, now if you polish a hyped solid, you're probably be in pretty good shape too. Oh, that's got a hook. No, just a little bit too far out, too quick. Yeah, hustle rip's not going to be a bad choice either because you can sand that if it's not hooking enough. Hype Pearl is really good on burnt stuff too. All right, we are in the 10th frame, obviously. I will need once we're done looking at the scores, so I'll probably go ahead and pause it and talk scores here for a second, and then I'll have to get the next video going. Hopefully the next video, the quality is better. It looks fine on my end, but I'm hearing it's a little fuzzy. Probably what I'll do too is I will upload these as standalone so that you can actually see the full quality. So what you could probably do is just go ahead and you could turn this on in the background and have the commentary, and then mute the. And there's a ball change from Derek. That's a nice shot. Somebody kept yelling down there too. Derek looked down there several times while he's been up there. So there were some oddly loud people there this time. Normally they keep that in check quite a bit better, but there was and you would think with beers being $10, $12, or $15 or whatever the crap they were, hi Bucko, that people would not have worked themselves into that loud of a mouth. Eternity's back out. Nice shot. Dallas. Yeah, I'm probably going to be doing the double singles tomorrow at some point. I don't know when, but yeah, I will be doing that too. Yeah, I think the quality that oh yeah, the balls got stuck again. I think the quality that I rendered this video at to get it so you could see the full picture. Hi Bucko, what are you doing? Hi. Quality I rendered this at is probably what's dropping the quality. Oh, I think yeah, he asked for a re-rack. Didn't have a 9-pin, I guess, or yeah, another ball call, whatever else. Hi, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hi, Bucko. You say hi to the people. just for Buckos. You know, what are you doing? I know, Bucko. Worst mistake I ever made in bowling was starting out right-handed. Woof. Worst mistake I ever made was bowling left-handed. You helping, Bucko? You helping, Bucko? All right, come on. Thank you. My pickles. My piggy. I know. My big pig. All right. My big pig. Oh, yeah. All right. Go talk to Mama. Go talk to Mama. Bye. And you can see the ball stuck again. Again. I think it was at this point the mechanic started to just kind of stay in the vicinity. And they started paying a little bit more attention to us at this point. It'd be quicker to go to the booth and have another one drilled at this point. Yeah. This is something I never tried. It's a little too hard going back and forth. Bowling Monday right-handed, Wednesday left-handed. Charles, Crush. And I think this is another max penalty. I felt pretty good having a turkey going in, and nope. There's another split, of course. Fourth or fifth that game. That one I got in a little bit. That one I kind of elbowed, and but again, I don't know why I couldn't have broken out of one or two. At any point, first game. Bucko, what are you doing? More approach issues. And here I'm just trying to get two. I know. Did I get two? Yeah. Okay. Get two and move on. Doing a heckin' disappointment. And that, I believe, is the end of the first game. So go up and take a look here. All right. I'm gonna oh, okay. Yeah, they swapped it just right. You have to be quicker. I'm gonna wait for him to zoom in there, and then it switched. Next game. Good breaks. Good breaks. All right. So you probably can't see that, but for our team, we shot 1049 the first game, 245 for Jason Crouch, 235 for Waswo, 200 even for Bruce, 215 for James, and a giant 154 for me with 4 circles. And the other team shot 945, 948 Aaron Ramsden 201, Ryan Klaus 181, Derek Lewis 187, Dallas Baldridge 154, Chaz Brewer 225. So, God, if we'd have stuck the good lefty on the other team. It's a 70-point swing. There's a 70-pin swing. That would have been 11-20 the first game. So, all right, I'm going to go on ahead and swap to the next video. Hopefully this quality is better or more in line with... much better. Yeah, this is a lower quality, so I think it was just struggling. The quality I render videos at struggles to play live, and this was a much lower quality, so it should be clearer on your end. I'm seeing that it looks like it is, so that's great. And Nico, yes, I will be uploading these with no commentary, so you can get a better looking picture. What beverage are you enjoying this evening? I'm actually drinking some of the non-alcoholic bourbon that I got a couple weeks ago. Called Free Spirits. Spirit of Bourbon. You can definitely tell it's not whiskey. It's not one of those things where if you pop it open, it's like, well, this tastes just like whiskey. But it's not. That is not something that happens. But it does taste really good, and it does give you the same kind of feel. It's kind of a they put some capsaicin in it to give you a little bit of a burn. So yeah, the capsaicin gives you a little bit of, like, it mimics kind of the whiskey burn, and then it doesn't have any, it kind of tastes like cookie, nutty, a little oaky, but it doesn't have any sugar in it or anything, so it's not sweet. So the first couple sips, it's like, yep, nope, this isn't bourbon. And then you take a couple more sips, it's like, it is really good though. And then you take a few more, and it's like, well, you know what? I'm not even missing the regular stuff. Sarsaparilla. Yes, I quite enjoy it. I'll wake up feeling amazing tomorrow too. So. Yeah, so the problem is with this is that I'm streaming at 1080 and 30 FPS. This is 720p at 60 frames per second. The first video, or the first game video, is 1080 at 60 frames per second, but it's a very high bit rate. So I juice it up to get the quality for the YouTubes. Doesn't stream so well though. Yeah, I do really like my scotch, but I find that, I have found that as I've sipped on this, I'll take the first couple sips. It is a little more watery. There's not as much body as regular bourbon or whiskey or whatever. but you kind of forget about that after you take a couple sips. The first sip is a little harsh because it's like, oh wow, this isn't bourbon. Then you take a few sips and you get the little bit of the capsaicin burn going, and then it tastes better and better. And by the time you're 4 or 5 sips in, it tastes really nice, and you can still tell it's not bourbon, but you don't mind because it just tastes good. What ball is closest to the ProMotion? I know you like that ball too. It's one of my faves. I threw it in Reno. I did take 2 of them, never threw it. That's a pretty good shot. That's going to hook too much. That was the one thing is I did hit what I was aiming at fairly often, but I was always too slow. I just needed to be a little bit faster. And I can throw it faster, but I tend to put more on it too. So my problem, at least when I was, in April, was trying to throw it hard and be soft with it at the same time. I can throw it harder, but again, I tend to put a little bit more on it. And I didn't want more on it. I wanted more speed, less hooky. Woof. And I think I chopped that, yeah. At this point, it's just getting funny. There's my other mismakeable. And so this was just one of those things where 4 splits the first game, missed something, then that's a makeable, and I just barely missed that. Going back to the question here. Now you can see everybody's starting to move in here a little bit. Yeah, Ramsden didn't like that shot, but it hooked because that's what the lanes were doing, was hooking. And see, that was a pretty good shot from Jason. He got a little screwed there. That hooked earlier than I think he was expecting because he jammed it. He had that really nice kind of jam shot going. Okay, yeah, for the 6th or 7th time now. And we're looking around. We have no monitors. Oh. Meanwhile, we're in like our 2nd frame here. Just starting our 2nd frame. Everybody else in the building is on their like 4th or 5th. Still trying to get a lane monitor down here for some balls. Ball that's closest to the ProMotion, as odd as it sounds, something that has replicated it or been really close, the Zen U. It doesn't make any sense, but the Zen U has actually been fairly close to the overall ball reaction of the ProMotion. Something else too, the Fate is not far off, but you have to put like 40 or 50 games. There's nothing that's truly like the ProMotion. It just handled the lane different, but it did kind of handle it like urethane. And since the Zen U now drilled very strongly, I've got 4x2 on my Zen U, and I let it lane shine, but it reminds me, just ball reaction, just ignore how you actually get there. Ball reaction reminds me a lot of the ProMotion. Or at the very least, I would say if you like a ProMotion, you're going to like the Zen U. The Zen U isn't quite as strong. I do prefer it lane shine. It's not quite as strong. It's not quite as early, rolling anyway, but same type of idea. So Nico asked a question. I'll put James's answer here up on the screen. I'll put, for those of you that are watching and don't have the chat up. So, no, you don't get a second chance, but hypothetically, if you got a second chance, would you do anything different? James put something in here. Jokes aside, I'd switch the Nova for a DNA. So he would have thrown a DNA because the DNA didn't really look good for James from like 2nd, 3rd arrow. And it's looking good for Ramsden. The Nova, I think, was just not quite enough cover. I think he needed a little bit too much surface. And and it was generally kind of close to right, but that was the problem. He needed too much surface on the Nova, which was making it a little bit too early. He could have gotten away with a little bit less surface on a DNA. Bring a purple hammer or plastic ball. Probably a low diff shiny resin. 2 needed better options for singles doubles. Singles doubles was a nightmare for 90% of the people that went out there. So, and James does not throw. He tried to throw a Zen-U in doubles and singles. It was just 2 over under. He tried to throw in doubles. It was just 2 over under, even with surface on it. Eternity for Dallas. Well, not quite there. So yeah, James doesn't throw urethane, fakeethane, whatever else very much at all. He doesn't have any trouble getting the ball to roll / hook early. Pretty good shot. So he doesn't have any issues getting the ball to roll or hook early, and urethane tends to dig, especially on the right side. There's already enough early hook in the track. He can get it to roll early, and so urethane tends to be a little over-under for him most of the time. It either digs in and insta-hooks or wiggles down lane. Also this. Not bowl the 6 p.m. team squad immediately turn around for the 7:30. Oh, well, this was nothing. We bowled 2:30. We had some decent squad times this year, but you don't bowl the 9:30 team squad and turn around and bowl the following. There we go. That was pretty okay. Yeah. At this point, I'm mad. I'm mad. But, you know, this is the point. Everything has gone so comically bad so far that she can't do anything but just the balls are stuck again. You can't do anything but just kind of chuckle and keep making shots, because if you get mad and you spiral down, like, yeah, looking around for a lane monitor. Can't find one again. This is the 7th or 8th time this has happened in 14 frames. Can't find a lane monitor anywhere. But the last thing that you do here, I've still got, I mean, we're what, 2 frames into the second game? I've still got 2/3 of my bowling left. Like, 150 the first game sucks, but I'm in reverse brackets. If I get a little bit of something going, go 220, 220, get to 6-0 even after going 150, that's a win. You know? And I thought with my look was good enough that I thought, well, you know, if I can just make the adjustment, I can put something together here. Like, that was not in doubt. Yeah. Hashtag confidence. So to go back to the question, would you do anything different? Probably would have practiced more. Of course, you never really know what you're going to need to practice going into it, but at the same time, I have played this general thing, this general area at Nationals with urethane every year. However, the thing that happened this year again is I'm used to being able to roll urethane down 5 board, not fling urethane down 5. I think that was the real thing that tripped me up, is not being able to keep my hand soft and throw it hard without dumping it. I either grabbed it or dumped it pretty much the whole time. I think I threw an actual good shot once out of every 4 or 5 maybe. There were 2 or 3 shots a game that were great off my hand, and they just packed them all back. Of course, except for that 7-pin. That was a really good shot on that 7-pin, wrapped it. But at the same time, again, that's, you know, single pin, pick it up, you know, keep putting it there. Good things will happen. Oh, get it. Stay out of trouble, kids. Stay out of trouble. In a little bit, but once everybody started moving in, the shots that were going high earlier are sitting there now, and we have friction to the right, and so these last two games are kind of a master class. And the first game was, make your single pin. The lesson from the first game is make your single pin, because there was an awful lot of missed single pins the first game, but everybody stuck to the plan. And I think I think it was just the spares the first game, because we had a few missed spares. We probably could have cruised to 1100. If I could have broken out of something at all, anytime period, we could have gotten 1120, 1130. The companion team, they shot 950, and I think they missed close to 10 makeable spares. So I mean, that's 120 pins. So that's, I mean, they could have easily gone for almost 1100. So the scores were a little deceiving. But putting issues, a million ball return calls, just standing there for, and trying not to get frustrated. But I mean, we're at frickin' Nationals trying to pay attention, and we can't get a lane monitor. We can't get our bowling balls back, and we can't get a lane monitor to do anything about it. Nice shot, Dallas. I'm not confident enough in my bowling game to bowl this. Even if my game is strong enough, my mental game is not. I've lost my stuff by now. This was unfortunately my mentality for a while. I didn't want to bowl tournaments until I felt like I was ready to bowl tournaments. The problem with that is that you don't know. You need to know what you're not good at, or you don't really find out what you need to work on without going to the tournaments to find out. So it's one of those things that you're never ready for anything. You just kind of have to get in and figure out what you need to do to get ready. Oh, there's ball stuck again. I think this is the last time it happens. Because we're in the third frame, and we did have a lane monitor by then standing right there. Somebody babysat us the rest of the day, and this is the last time it happened, I think. I think it was by the third frame of the second game. This was the last call that we had. So yeah, I think that you just have to get in there, and you just have to lose your mind. You just have to lose your mind. You have to be frustrated. You have to do whatever else to just figure it out. So yeah, this is the lane monitor now. This is the guy that came down and said, "Yeah, I'm just gonna hang out." So this is hilarious. I bowled so bad I was actually able to refund my streams. That's amazing. Also terrible, and that's in. See that I was way too square. Trying to keep hitting the head pin. The thing I didn't want to do was wash out, because at least if you're hitting the head pin, as long as you don't split, you leave yourself makeable spares. I think I switched to the plastic ball and actually make this one. Oh, nope. Good breaks. Okay, 3 missed makeables. No hook. Nah, that was a better shot than that. It just hooked a little extra. Generally speaking, how do you set the lanes up to play better for games 2 and 3? So again, I think we were talking about this before you got in here, but basically we had 6 of the righties stay to the right and kind of burnt up, threw a bunch of shots down 3, 4, 5 to try to pick the oil up off the lane. Yeah, that was another footing issue. But they had 6 of them were kind of picking up the oil on the outside part of the lane to get more friction, to create more mist room to the right. They had 2 of them throwing urethane or plastic right up 15 to try to push some of the oil in the middle down there so that we would also have mist room on the inside. And then everybody stayed right the entire first game to try to continue to pick the oil up in the track area so that when you move left, you move inside. All of a sudden, they've got a little bit of carry down to keep the ball from going too high, but they also have some predictable friction to the right and in the track area to throw at to make the balls hook. And it worked out really, really well. So yeah, I think you'll be able to watch the rest of the games. 2 and 3 generally went pretty good for everybody but me. I just had to do something that I was not good at, not practiced at, and the other thing was that my look was so good that I think it trapped me a little bit, because I just kept going. It's like, all you have to do is make a good shot. Get a semi-decent shot. The problem was I was not comfortable with playing with where I was at, and sometimes you have to sacrifice a good look. Or like some people call certain balls trap balls. They look so good, they look like they react so good, but they ultimately don't score or don't get work done. And so it's like, well, I can't get out of this ball because it's rolling great. I'm hitting the pocket every shot. Well, you're not knocking the pins down. So at some point, something has to give, and I just did not give. I'm like, this is the shot. We're working into it. It looks great. I just can't make a shot. I probably should have tried something else. But I don't know. My Zen U was a little too over-under. My reactive stuff was a little bit too much. I probably could have moved in a little bit, but again, with Chaz throwing the purple hammer where he was at, I thought I was gonna get into some over-under. And again, my look was great. I just didn't make the shots. So sometimes you just have to look in the mirror and tell yourself that. I stayed in urethane entirely too long in double and singles fatal error. Urethane, that's one thing that's really fascinated me, is that urethane used on the right and left side is completely different. It's just completely different. Righties have so much more track friction that urethane is so much earlier and smoother on the right side than it is on the left. Like, you can watch Butters bend a purple hammer, or Butters or Packy, Kevin Williams, whatever else, bend a purple hammer, get it to turn sideways from fourth arrow. That doesn't happen on the right side because we have a whole lot less friction. So it takes it takes more surface, the stronger cover, to get the ball to actually react early on the left side. And so that's why urethane shapes really nicely for lefty. Like urethane for lefties shapes like a symmetric ball, or like a strong symmetric ball does for righties. Like, urethane is the NV Tour for the lefties. I thought I had 2 mismakeables, but yes, I probably just forgot about my 3 miss. I think that I'm clean the rest of the way here. The problem is that I just dug myself such a big hole. Clean on. Here we go. That was not exactly what I wanted, but it was a whole lot better. And since we've been there the whole time, I got that one a little bit out, but it hooked enough. So I think I've got something really nice to work with now. I think I might still have another split or two, but I don't think I miss another makeable, and I think I ended up, well, I shot 150 the first game, and I think I got to 545 or 550 or something, so I shot 390, 40 the last 2 games. So I didn't quite get back to where I wanted to get back to, but I didn't shoot 3 150s. Yeah, another top 20 year in team again, though. And that's what I regret the most about this, because we shot 3159, and if I pick up a couple spare, we have several guys that missed some. There were several missed makeables on our side the last game. We could have cruised to 3,300 with what Dave and the rest of us, with what Dave and James end up putting up there. If the rest of us could have easily found another 50 pins for the set. Just saying. So we could have cruised to 3,300. The look was there. We had the look. Jason showed up the first game. I think I show up the last game. Bruce was pretty even keel the whole set, because I think he shot 2-0 the first game. He just, I don't know, can't remember. Yeah, I want to get Hustle Rip, not big on the color. I see Bowler's Mart has an orange Hustle Chili with VTC solid. Yeah, it's going to react just like it. If you like the look of that, I'd go ahead and pick that up. As long as it's VTC. Now, if it's VTC 20 or something like that, that's a different story. I'm going to have to look that up. That was a pretty good shot. That's one of those things that really sucks about bowling, is that was a pretty good shot from Derek, and he ended up with a split on something that just hooked too soon. Yeah, there's another missed single pin. Toto grip. Hustle Chili. Overseas Hustle Chili. Yeah, we were looking at that one. We were hoping that we were going to get that one. It looks sweet. Yeah, it's just BTC solid. So yeah, you should be fine. It should be just a grip camo recolor. And you can see what James is doing is he's getting inside the ball, and he's being quick with his hand at the bottom, but he's just springing it off his hand. And so he's just feeding it into the friction and letting it walk up. So at this point, the righties have basically turned this pattern into a house shot. That should be good from Dallas there, yeah. So because they stayed right, they did it right in practice, they did it right the first game, now they have something pretty awesome to... Yeah, I got away with that one. My shoulders were too square, and I didn't want to open up and like push it or flag it to the right. I would rather do that, but my shoulders were getting a little too closed. I need to be doing something more like, oh, look, the balls are stuck again. It was a pretty decent shot from Kaz there, just didn't get him to go, but... Another thing that I think I figured out for singles, something that I figured out is I was not dropping my shoulder. I was getting low like I needed to, but not dropping my left shoulder was making me have to kind of go around my body. And so that's why I kept kind of elbowing it. If I would have dropped my shoulder a little bit so that my arm swing could go straight back and then straight forward, I'd have been in a whole lot better shape. But again, I am not left-handed. Ram. It's a little up the lane, little inside, little up the lane. But again, what they done with the lanes at that point gave him that, that was more inside than you would think for a 4-pin. But you condition the lanes the right way, you do the right things with the lanes, and you're in good shape. Yeah, the righties all started off with a bunch of, or 6 of them anyway, started off with quite a bit of friction in practice anyway, up the gutter, and then they adjusted, they moved to something else, but just staying further to the right while throwing the ball, and just continued to pick up oil off the lane while they were bowling the first game. Derek was having some trouble with one of his thumbs. I think either his thumb was swelling up or something was going on with one of his thumb slugs. He just couldn't get the ball off his hand clean. Good shot from Dave there. He wasn't sure that he was going to be able to keep moving in with the TNT, but it just kept getting back. And we had a really rocky start. That's another bad break for him. He had the ball hook a little bit too much on him last shot on the left lane. And then just a little light on that one and can't carry. We had a very rocky start with the TNT, and I tried it with some different surfaces and whatever else. Either this is just going to be too early and too slow of a ball for me to throw. But as I've continued to watch it, and then seeing Dave with his at nationals and whatever else, it's like, well, this is like the best two-hander ball ever made, and just a ridiculously incredible tough condition ball, because it rolls so heavy and so early and controls the lane really well. But the cover is still kind of cleaner, so it doesn't like dig in early. It rolls heavy and it rolls early, but it doesn't dig in early. So it's a bunch of throwable stability. It just ends up working out great on stuff like this. Back up the hill for Dallas. Kind of in his wheelhouse now. Of course, Dallas's wheelhouse is pretty well everywhere. He was, the couple years before this, he didn't go with us in 2022, but in 2019 and then 2021, he did well. See, and Chaz is kind of trying to do the same thing that I am. He's trying to keep more square, because the thing, again, we don't want to push the ball out, especially because the fronts are hooking so much. So we're trying, and with the fronts hooking so much, the natural inclination or the natural mental response is going to be, I need to throw it harder, or I need to give it more room. And so he was kind of doing the same thing that I was. It's like, okay, well, keep shoulders square. It's a whole lot better to miss inside than outside. That one he just, again, shouldered a little bit. But when throwing that hard, that close to the gutter, we needed to reinforce to our heads, do not throw it out. Throw it harder, do not throw it out. Wifey asked a good question here. Those that struggled with equipment, what would or should they have taken instead? That's more of a doubles and singles question. Everything kind of worked out well. I think Jason Crouch was throwing a stealth. I think. Is this a good shot? I opened up a little bit more. And then, yeah, again, that was the problem with opening up, is I didn't get back through it. I tried not to shoulder it or pull it, and so I just olayed it a little bit too much. I just got it going a little bit too far left off my hand. Oslo is also an ambidextrous bowler. He's actually going back lefty this year. And he's talked a lot about like, yeah, dude, when I bowl lefty, I just stick to house shots. He's like, I'd never want to bowl nationals left-handed or whatever else. And it has been a real trip trying to bowl some of their tournaments and on tougher conditions, and then going to nationals and whatever else. And I'm probably biting off more than I can chew. There's a pretty quality shot. Yeah. Giving it that little push fade through the middle there. So yeah, we'll have to bookmark this comment and talk about it tomorrow on the other stream. Because there were some different options, doubles, singles. Everybody did pretty well, and the ones that really didn't do that great either kind of shot themselves in the foot. There was just too many mismakeables across the board from everybody. I think from mismakeables from all 10 people, we gave away 300 pins on the pair. I think everybody gave away 30 or 40 sticks. Except for James. James and Wassel, I guess, were probably the only two that didn't give a significant amount of pins away on mismakeables. And I think it just takes a little bit more practice than everybody thinks it'll take, because we get there and everybody bowled. Well, I only ended up bowling the Bowler's Journal once. Normally we do that a couple times. Then we had 2 team practice sessions. And so we bowled quite a bit. There's another pretty good shot that was just a little in. We bowled quite a bit when we got there, and we watched a lot of bowling, but it just, you got to be sharper than you think you have to be. Just showing up and throwing a Bowler's Journal set or two and, throwing a couple team practice sessions isn't enough to get it done. It's not enough to stay as sharp as you need to be when you're on the tournament lane. Pretty good. That was a little out, but again, that's why you condition the lanes. Derek moved in a little bit. Great shot. That's one of those finally. He threw several good shots before that, and just, again, that's the thing that sucks about the right side of the lane, is you can get up and you can execute a great shot and get screwed over for it. That's one thing about bowling that's always frustrated me, is that even when you do the right thing and make the shot, sometimes you pay for it. That was just terrible timing. again, the mechanics did not work out, but I got it onto the lane doing what it needed to be doing. But the timing was off, and I finally got the timing right for singles. I threw a really good singles set. A really good singles set. But I finally got the timing right, the mechanics right, everything felt right. And Chaz's suggestion on breaking the lanes down was ended up being perfect. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. That shot from Dallas was just a little bit inside. Yeah, Angel says Gabby is hilarious. Yeah, we can hear her in the background. We do have our dates for next year. We're going back to July. I think it's 18th and 19th, 17th and 18th. Yeah, I think it's the July 18th and 19th. It's a couple of last dates, and I can't remember what were our squad times. Was it like 2:30, 2:30, or 2:30, 6:30, or we got some pretty good squad times. Yeah, let me pull this up. I can actually. Yeah. 2024 national. All right. Team is July 18th at 2 p.m. Singles and doubles is July 19th at 6 p.m. So these are the best. Yeah, there we go. These are the best squads that we've had in a hot minute. Because even though we had, this was the 2:30. Yeah, we had the 2 o'clock team squad this year, I think. Yeah, we had the 2 o'clock team squad this year, and then we ended up having 7 a.m. doubles and singles the following day for double. And it was just not it, because they didn't turn the frickin' air conditioners on, and so it was sweltering in there until 8:30. Yeah. Oh, nice pickup from Jason there. That was good off his hand. That's always good to see. But yeah, the first hour and a half of doubles and singles was absolutely miserably hot. I'm lucky I don't have any issues with that anymore. I don't have any hand issues, or I don't slide, so never have approach issues. Memphis, I'm not sure what time I'm going to stream tomorrow. I'm thinking 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 noon, something like that. I don't necessarily want to do it. I might do it again at like 6 tomorrow. Maybe. Yeah. David's daughter back there cheering for him. So yeah, I might stream at 6 tomorrow night. Just same time of day for everybody. So yeah, I'm going to go on ahead and say 6 o'clock. Subject to change, but probably 6. Go ahead and pop that up on the screen since James put it in the chat. That's when we're bowling next year. Okay, so it's actually it's July, not June, but so 7/8. Yeah, 7/18 and 7/19. Looking back, was there a ball you would have given a second chance? I probably should have gotten a ProMotion out and moved in a little bit. But it was... Again, it was... My look was so good, and it continued to get better throughout the set. That's the thing. It got more forgiving. And I'm like, I just can't move off of this. I just need to just keep throwing shots, get comfortable, get my mechanic whatever figured out, because I didn't want to move around and still be throwing it bad. That's a good shot. I didn't want to move while I was still throwing it bad and move away from something that was perfectly fine that I just couldn't hit. I'm still not even sure if I got to go back and do it again. I know what I've gotten pretty good over the last, or a whole lot better over the last couple months. I'm being a whole lot more consistent. Mechanics have gotten a lot better, and so I think if I was able to go back and do the same thing now, I'm not necessarily sure that I'd have shot 680, but it wouldn't have been 550. That's pretty okay. Yeah, that was actually a good shot. And it was a little bit better than I was counting on. And so that's why it didn't quite get there. But the problem is that I don't think I put another one behind it. I think I just fought mechanical issues all the way up until the first shot of singles. And then that's when everything kind of clicked. Oh, Ram. Ram is frustrated. Alright. James got the update there, so I'll put it back on the screen. So yeah, we got some really nice squad times this year. And it is in Vegas again. Let's see what... I think that's the weekend again. Oh, it's not a weekend? Oh, yeah, we were trying to figure that out. Let's pull up the calendar. Yeah, it's a Thursday, Friday. Normally we bowl on the weekend, but this is a Thursday, Friday this year. Yeah, so we can... the Saturday night room cost of the casino is just ridiculous. So we'll be leaving then. And then we'll drive home Saturday, Sunday, and probably head back to work Monday. But Vegas isn't that bad of a trip. Probably leave on Monday then, so we can be there Tuesday, Wednesday, or get there late Tuesday, have all day Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday. So just have to take 5 days off of work. That'll be okay. Whoa, that's a bit outside. That's a good 8 for Mr. Klaus, Santa Claus. Yeah, I really do like Vegas. We stay at South Point pretty well the whole time, but there's enough stuff there. I mean, it's a one-stop shop, and there's usually something else. Like that time of year is normally when the BMX stuff goes on. So, yeah, it's gonna be a long 20-minute drive from the house. Yeah, we get to see our Vegas crew. That's always fun. Got a lot of friends out in Vegas, and I like South Point. I like everything in South Point. There's a good spare. Derek was pretty snake bit in team 2. It just like everything was a split. If he didn't hit the pocket, everything else was a split. We are getting close to the end of the second game. Wife just said that there's canine trials in March at South Point. They have a convention center that's kind of attached that's right there. You can either go left into the bowling center, or you can go right, or just keep going straight, I guess, once you get up the escalators and go into the convention center, and they've got all kinds of stuff. That was a terrible shot. That was very, very early swing timing. I didn't want to dump it, and I didn't. Mission accomplished. Oh, Dallas. Dallas. Spare master. I'm the spare master. Master the spares. '90s today. Just rain on and off. Must be nice. It was 110 degrees today in Topeka. And it's not good. The low high. Let me see if I can find it. The low high until Friday is like 104. It's still okay. Update. It's 9 o'clock and it's still 93 degrees at like 80% humidity. Feels like 101. It's 9 o'clock and it's 101 degrees outside. Vegas has a tornado chance, like 2% chance. Did we switch weather? We have a tornado chance. Yeah, let me see this for the next one. Yes, today got to 111. Sunday, tomorrow 106, Monday 104, Tuesday 105, Wednesday 104, Thursday 104, and then we drop all the way down to 98 degrees on Friday. Oh, Rand's done. Yes, James, that probably means we are going to the canine trials in March. We know friends there. Nice shot, Jason. That one should have gone down. I mean, that was good off his hand. IQ Ruby for the Ram. Oh yeah. Andrew's watching UFC. Heck yeah, that was not good. So we must be in the 10th frame here. Jason Lee struck the first ball of the 10th. I think he shoots 2-0 this game. UFC you later. I see what you did there. Would it bounce? Nope. That's a good UFC card. There's better fights at Denny's at 2 a.m. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. We haven't gotten the fights in a long time. We used to actually, Jason Crouch. We used to go over and he'd get the UFC fights, and we'd split them amongst a few different people, and haven't done that for a while. But I just got away from it for a little too long. It started getting a little uninteresting. Because when we were watching, it was around like UFC 100, like 80, like from UFC 75-ish, 80-ish to 120-ish or something like that, where you got Anderson Silva beating everybody, and Mirko Krokop, Frank Mir, Brock Lesnar was still fighting, Cain Velasquez, Alistair Overeem, George St. Pierre, but they started getting kind of boring because John Jones too, another very notable name. But everybody started fighting like GSP. It's like, okay, all the title fights are just going 5 rounds, and everybody's turning it. It's like UFC turned into Major League 2. And Wild Thing's throwing 5 pitches. Yeah, I don't want to be one of these phenoms that just blows his arm out throwing gas. I got to start thinking in terms of a career. And then it's like okay, whatever. And then when they added the women's division, the women actually fought. And so it was nice to watch, Ronda get into the ring and just swing at people. And now I think it's going back a little bit more, where fights are actually interesting again, instead of just every fight there for a while was just, it was going the distance, and it was just, okay, well, we're just going to see what the judges have to say. Yeah, those were the craziest years. Cain Velasquez before he murdered someone for real. Yeah. God, those were the days when yeah, that apparently happened. Those were the days. That was when Brock Lesnar comes charging out of the gate at Frank Mir or whatever and just straight up tackled in the first 5 seconds. They had some people that really didn't like each other, and it wasn't like the Conor McGregor stuff now. I mean, the Frank Mir Lesnar fights were pretty legendary, and then of course being around for Anderson Silva getting a little too cocky, and Chris Weidman taking care of him a couple times. And John Jones didn't want to fight anybody. Of course, I think he was thinking more contract stuff. Used to go to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch. But you're all here to talk bowling. Yeah, this isn't rabbit trails, this is bowling. bowling, there are rules. Yeah, I felt really bad for Derek here because he threw it really well. He threw it really well the whole weekend. He shot high 650, like 659 or something in singles, and he did pretty okay in doubles too. He had a really good tournament. He just didn't, unfortunately, have anything to show for it in team. Oh yeah, Robbie Lawler. We were on the tail end of like Rich Franklin and Chuck Liddell, and yeah, see, somebody else just. Woo! That's like the third or fourth time that Derek's had to back off because somebody's screaming in his backswing. And this is the right thing to do. And don't just reset. Back off long enough that you can cool down. Because if you just kind of reset and go back and throw the ball again, you haven't had time to mentally reset. So just go back off the lane. Give it 30, 45 seconds, 60 seconds, whatever else. You know, just get back into it and make a good shot because he just threw a good shot. Let's put another good one back, you know, right behind it, and then build on it. And that was good enough. He just couldn't really get it going. There are some days like this too, where you just don't have it. You're just not matched up, and it can make you feel like, oh, well, I'm doing something wrong, or I didn't. You know, even if you are doing something wrong, some days you just feel uncomfortable. The interesting thing about that shot there is that he threw it, and then he gave it the hand motion to back off, and then most people will watch that and say, well, but it didn't end up hooking enough. Well, he wanted it to back off because he knew it wasn't going to hook enough. He just didn't want it to hook enough to leave a flat 10. He wanted it to stay in the mix. He wanted it to back off to stay in the mixer zone, not because he thought that it was actually going to go high. He wanted it to not flat 10. No, there's actually plenty of seating. It's just you don't want to. The seating area sucks though, because they have these couches, these just few seater couches that are crowded right up around the ball return, and then there's like a 15-foot wide concourse that runs the entire way. And so there's plenty of room, but most of us just don't want to sit down. We just want to keep up and moving around and walking and stay loose and whatever else. And then James was not, after this shot, James wasn't terribly sure about the absolute. He looked at it and it's like, okay, it hooked, but it was still a little down lane. And I think he made the call to just go to it, because he knew he was running out of room with the Envy. And so even though it looked good, it's like, well, if I have to keep moving left like this, he was, Memphis, he was throwing the Envy Tour for the second game. And he was starting to see that he was running out of, there's a good shot. There's a good shot. That's what I was trying to do. That's why you see how I just kind of popped just ice and fluid and then just popped the ball off my hand. I stayed inside of it, stayed behind it, just kind of, you know, soft, and just let it catch the friction and roll up. So this was the thing. Envy Tour was good. That fill ball was just to get a look at my next ball in the progression. I wasn't going to get out of the Envy Tour until it felt like my carry was compromised. And so I think that he did start the last game with the Envy Tour and then just decided to go to the, oh, that's a good shot. There we go. So a couple of good shots back to back. 215 clean game one. I just shot 279. Second game, so at this point I'm swinging for the fences. Oh, yep, he got all of that one. Man, and at this point I'm watching that saying he can get that nonsense. Charles can get that nonsense. And I missed a little bit, and it's a split. Come on now. Did I throw a bad shot again here? Probably. No. Good shot, 7-pin. I'm okay with that. I am not mad. Not mad at all. Yeah, NV Tour for 2 frames, and then went strike 10-pin, then switched to the absolute and back 10. So thanks for spoiling it. But yeah, that's one of those things where you got to look on the fill ball. Great shot from Chaz there. All right, I'm going to pause this thing before it wipes our scores off again. One more shot for Chaz. So yeah, James took a look at something else, even though he wasn't ready. And this is the thing. If you have a fill ball shot to use, there's no harm in trying something else. Because if he'd have just said, okay, the NV looks fine, I'm not ready to get out of it, and then he just uses the fill ball for that, then he doesn't get a look at the absolute. And then when he goes strike flat 10, that makes that decision in the third frame a whole lot harder because he hasn't even seen what the absolute looks like. So at that point, all right, I'm going to pause it there before we lose it. All right. Jason had a little bit of a rough game for 179. We shot 1075 the second game. 236 for Waswo. Bruce had a little bit of a rough game for 183. Couldn't get anything going. James shot 279. Front 5 spare, front 5-9 spare, back 6. And then after my slow start, I double spare, double, to get to at least not, have a catastrophe. And especially after going open, spare, open, I was happy to get back to that. On the other team, they shot 1,001. Ramsden at the top with 182. Ryan Klaus shot 258. He had a good game. Derek Lewis had a 150, but that was nowhere close to a 1. I mean, he didn't throw 150. He threw 2-0, 210, and scored 150. Dallas Baldridge had a couple opens back-to-back after a 4-bagger, shot 198, and then Chaz shot 213. So, yeah, we're at 21-24 at this point. Feeling pretty good going to the last game, and then the other team's at 1950, and that's well within the cash line. So if they just shoot another 1,000 again, they're doing well. So all right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull in game 3 here. Loud noises. All right, there we go. Game 3. Match. Yeah, that was very helpful. I usually just waste my fill ball. Most of the time, I will not use my fill ball just because I want to keep in the same. I just want to keep the same rhythm going. But I also have the luxury of not really. Most of the time, I can move with the same ball I'm already using. I don't have a whole lot of situations where I've used a ball, the lanes have transitioned significantly, and so I don't exactly know what I'm going to get out of switching to a certain ball at a certain stage of transition. It transitions a whole lot more slowly, and so I'm a whole lot more confident in my ball moves because as long as I've thrown several, but what I do is I tend to throw several balls in practice and see what they look like. And so when I do make a ball change to something else, I know that I'm going to be within a board or two of what it was doing in practice. And so if I'm still feeling good about a ball, I will just go ahead and throw a good shot, or try to throw a good shot in the fill ball, and just keep going until I'm forced out of that ball, or forced to move. Most of the time, I can just move with the same ball. And actually, last night in League, I started off with the Dark Code, and it was just getting stronger and stronger and earlier. And I left a Greek Church the first ball of the. After leaving a Greek Church in the middle of the first game, I left a Greek Church the first ball of the second game, and then it went high and I opened again. I went open the second game, and so I thought, well, I need to go down to the gold label, and ended up pulling it out and having a great game. But I had thrown the gold label in practice and knew what I was going to have to work with, and so it was an easy transition for me. So nice shot from Bruce, just a little early. I'm drinking a homemade watermelon lemonade now. I just get big bottles of lemon juice, and then I have the Ghost powder mix. I've got the watermelon amino acids, whatever. So a little bit of lemon juice and scoop of the watermelon stuff, and then fill it up with water, and bam, watermelon lemonade. Good shot, but here he's, and is a little slow. The ball reaction down lane. It was a good shot. It's actually one of those. It was a little too good of a shot, so it didn't have time to really get up there. But it's still shaping nice. But it was a little bit late, and a little bit slower than he wanted it to be, and so that starts the wheels turning, especially after he knows he's running out of time. Decent shot. Decent shot, though. I'm finally loosening up a little bit. The lanes are opening up a little bit, and so I can see that one. I'm giving a little bit more room. It's walking up a little bit more. Now, at the same time, Chaz is starting to lose his heads. And this is the very weird thing about bowling with him, is we see the same things. But as the lanes transition, they do different things for us. Normally, if he's struggling, I'm doing well. And if I'm struggling, he's doing well. Because he has the speed to kind of push through things, but the problem is that when the heads burn, it's better for me because I can give it that little slow roll thing. So if I can actually get the lanes to burn to the point where I can swing it a little bit and don't have to just point it straight up the ditch, I'm in better shape. But when he has to move in, his speed hurts him a little. So it's interesting. A little firm on the speed for new dad Aaron Ramsden. Wife had a baby a couple months ago now. Woo. Don't hurt it, son. Yuck, yuck. Mm-hmm. Also, a big shout out to Ryan Klaus ball in the left lane here. This is the first time in like 4 nationals trips that he hasn't been sick. Just like clockwork. Never sick until it's time to go to nationals. He gets sick a couple days beforehand, and then he's just miserable the entire time. This year he was not sick. Yeah, Dave tried the Ruby because he was worried about the TNT not making it back, but everybody kept moving left. He's like, I don't think it's gonna be able to cover the boards. And so he tried the Ruby, and the Ruby was flat. And so he went back to the TNT, and it just didn't quite get up the hill that shot, but he stuck with it, and that ended up being the correct decision. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Man. Yeah. Good Hank Hill, yeah. Damn it, Bobby. That was a little in. Great shot from Bruce there. He's getting pretty loose. Spare attempt. We have a gigantic Peggy Hill head that we hold up at league. Alright, this is the shot that we're all looking at because this is getting pretty deep for an NV Tour. Solid shot, wrap 10. And this is one of those decisions that has started. This is one of those things that a lot of people are too reactive rather than proactive. So he's seen that he's about to, and he just because he knows his equipment, he knows his game, whatever else. He knew 6 frames ago that he was running out of time with the NV Tour, and so he didn't just, I left the 10-10, so now I need to switch balls. He's realized for the last 6 frames he needed to switch balls, so he's been prepared to switch balls until he saw something like this, and then with the first shot in the game going mixer, and then this one's a little late and wraps 10. He now knows it's time to switch balls. And I think somebody yelled or somebody did some kind of something over there. You have to smile at that because he hasn't had a good setup to that point. So there's no getting mad about it. It's not going to help if the day is just not going great. And he's one of these guys that normally goes out there and does well. And so if it doesn't go well, it's kind of like, okay, well, one day out of however many. Okay, so I had a bad team set, whatever. I'm a little square. I don't like this. I'm a little square. Hey, I got a break. Yeah, I saw that was going to be bad before I even started walking. But yeah, with Dallas, almost you got to laugh at that because you can think, wow, you can be mad about, oh yeah, I picked one out of that. He almost went between it with a plastic ball. So this is the thing: is Chaz is starting to lose because he doesn't necessarily want to get in because he doesn't have enough back end reaction. So he's trying to work with it from where he's at. Ram. Stone 8. So yeah, we were talking after that frame. James was saying I probably could have gotten to like 2-teen with the NV Tour, but I knew if I went to the Absolute, I had a chance of going sheet. So that's the thing is he could have played it safe and he could have hit the pocket the rest of the day and had a really solid set, but you also risk if you think, okay, well, I can probably grind this out to 2-teen. The probability of you grinding it out to 2-teen is low. You probably end up going 190-2-0 because if you're stuck in a ball that you aren't terribly confident in anymore, and then trying to make it at least hit the pocket, that's getting into risky territory. Oh, another thing, we were talking about lane monitors earlier. There was a lane monitor around several times to let us know that we were bowling slow in doubles and singles, and we weren't screwing around. We were up there bowling every time it was our turn. But they don't put the warning up on the screen anymore. They have somebody kind of come discreetly tell you. And she came down and told us 3 or 4 times in singles, and it's kind of like, hey, we got a lane monitor now. This would have been really nice yesterday. And everybody was mad at us. We had 9 ball return calls. He just ended up putting a little bit more mustard on the TNT. And yeah, he's telling me right there, he's like, yeah, I thought I was running out of lane with it. And I told him, I'm like, I said, yeah, you got that little fade thing going nice. And I just keep throwing it until it screws you. Because like, if it's reacting like that, I don't really care what it's supposed to do. Pretty good shot from Bruce. Yeah. And that's one of those things some of them started getting into this last game. It opened up really nice for the second game, and then that was a good shot. It just stopped and duck hooked at 30 feet. It was kind of at this point where we probably should have been thinking, okay, well, This is probably not ice. This is probably fire. Was as fast as it transitioned. The back half of the second game into the third game. But again, not actually being on the right side. Oh, that was a good shot. Not actually being on the right side anymore. It's a little hard for me to see it as well, especially when I'm not paying too much attention. I'm still absorbed in trying to figure out what I'm doing. I'm trying to get that sorted out. And James and I talk a lot, and I'm used to James moving left like this. I mean, I didn't really see anything different about the transition progression and his moves and whatever else. This was just kind of typical James for me, and so I didn't really watch anybody else too close. It just felt like the way the back end settled down, that's what kind of leaned me toward ice rather than fire. Yep, pretty happy about that one. And I think that's the point where he realizes, like, yep, this was it. Let's get it. Technically one lane, and they tell everybody it's like we're doing one lane so that we can get through this. I mean, they want to keep the squads on time. Oh man, that was, yeah, paid for it again. That was not a bet. It was marginally inside off my hand. I got just around a little bit too much. But again, why can't I leave a 6 pin? Why does it have to be a big 4 every time? I paid for absolutely everything. I got the one break on the Brooklyn earlier, and then there was one time that I dumped it and kind of did a rocket to the pocket. And so I think I got away with like 2 shots. And then, yeah, then there was that one that my timing got stupid on. So I got away with 2 shots and I got a Brooklyn. But I left 7 or 8 splits in team. I can actually pull up my stats. Let me do that. I'm going to pull a few minutes talking. I use PinPal. There's a lot of people who use, like, I don't know, I can't remember what Riley uses. Bowler. So, yeah, but there are still some people that give 2-lane courtesy. I'm one of those that tends to give 2-lane courtesy because I never know who's going to want it and who's going to get mad if I don't give it to them. And so I would just rather, I'm fine with whatever. I mean, you can bowl right next to me on the very next lane. I don't care. It's not going to bother me. But I don't want somebody getting all huffy and like slamming the ball down on the rack when I don't give them their 2-lane courtesy. I'd just rather, you know what? Fine, I'll give you your 2-lane courtesy. Just I don't care. I just don't care. Tournaments. OC 2023 team. Tournament statistics. 9 opens. I was 8 for 11 on makeables, and I had 17 total spare attempts. So I had 6 open, or I had 6 splits, 3 missed makeables. There's a good shot. Santa Claus. Yep. I bet that would have carried on twisters or strings. Just saying. Decent shot from Bruce there. Nice. Yeah, that seems like a them problem if they can't handle one lane courtesy. Yes. But as soon as people start turning to crybabies and slamming balls down on the rack, then it disturbs other bowlers that are bowling. And if there's something I can do to keep them from acting like a baby, then I'll just do it, typically. And some people are like, well, I'm just, they're not going to get me out of my rhythm or whatever. And it's like, well, that's kind of my thing, is I just kind of adjust to whatever. That's what I do best, is just kind of adjust to whatever everybody else is doing. And most of the time, if people get their way, they just shut up, and I'd rather them shut up or whatever else than get in my way. Yeah, my wife just says, like, in a sense, you are getting your way because you're getting them to shut up. And I'm like, yes, that is kind of my way. If everybody just kind of is chill and has no problems, that I can handle whatever it is that we're doing, wherever we're going, whatever. It just, I would just rather people not be crybabies. Yeah. Hot meat kettle. Most of the time, I just whine because I go so far out of my way to make things work for everybody else. Yep, and that's exactly why I didn't want to open up. However, solid 8. Most of the time, I go so far out of my way to accommodate somebody that if they can't meet me halfway or a quarter of the way or whatever, then that's when I start whining. IQ Ruby. Ramsden's arsenal really worked out well for Dallas and team. There's a good shot. Huh? Score the good shot on the second ball, not the first one. Intelligence. Great shot from Chaz. He's just throwing it harder. Also, he has a purple hammer. Of course, as you'll all see tomorrow, I have a Zen U. Pretty good shot from Jason there. Ugh. Oh, yeah. Yes, if I could redo this one now, I would try to not fall and crack a knee 3 days before the tournament. Yeah, he hobbled through the tournament, and then on their way back home, they hung out with us for a little bit in Branson. We just happened to be down there for a tournament. So yeah, would have taken more higher RG stuff. And I think that's what, even on the team pattern, 42 feet, 27 mils, there was plenty of friction. And I think that was the thing that most surprised me, is that there were a lot of people that kept coming back later saying, it's like, yeah, we use strong stuff, but we use shiny strong stuff. And normally shine is a no-no on tough conditions, especially out the gate. But yeah, there was so much friction in the fronts, or the fronts hooked so much, that shiny stuff looked really good. I mean, you can see that James is in an absolute from Fourth Arrow at the start of Game 3. Yeah, it could be worse. You could have zero lane courtesy. Had that before. You got little kids running all over the place, and you're trying not to hit somebody in the head in your backswing. People that shouldn't have kids have kids. Another good shot from Waz. He just had to put it up there, and that TNT rolls so... Yeah, he just puts it out there, and it stopped and walked in. It rolls so heavy and so early that it just does not miss the mid lane, ever. Whoops. Oh, that's in 264 RG. Yeah. I should probably take stuff like a high road, but I don't ever throw anything but urethane, so I always say, yeah, I'm going to take these because I don't want to get there and then, oh, well, this is the year that I'm going to throw reactive. I'm never going to throw reactive. This is national. Nebo went to one lane from two, and everyone was confused today about when to go. Went to one lane from two, yeah. I think the PBA, the double jump, is amazing. It makes so much sense, and it flows so much faster. I think the PBA's, the double jump, literally goes faster than one lane courtesy. Because you have a designated time to go. You don't get up there next to somebody and go, oh, are you going to go? Or are you going to go? Well, you can go ahead and go. It's like, no, you have a set time. The way the PBA lane courtesy works is that you give one pair on either side of you, but you also know when it's your turn to go. If you get up there, as soon as you pick up your ball, you let either the pair to the right of you will go or the pair to the left of you will go. And then after somebody on the right and somebody on the left is gone, now it's your turn. There's no, oh, I'm kind of up there at the same time as somebody else. One side of you goes, then you go. And then the other side goes, and then the other side goes, and then somebody on your pair goes, and it goes so fast. Because there's a very definite structure to it. There's a good shot.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Charles. Yeah, so I think that you can see on shots like that all I had to do was just get it off my hand clean and let it walk up. So there was no inclination or reason for me to even think about moving, going somewhere else, doing so. I needed to make shots. That's all that needed to happen, and I just didn't do it consistently. I threw enough good shots to where if I'd have kept doing the same thing, I'd have been okay, but I just never... The execution from shot to shot just wasn't there. I'd throw a good shot, and then I'd throw 3 bad ones, and I'd throw another good one, and I'd throw 3 bad ones. It was just straight up execution. And could I have moved and maybe gotten myself to relax for better shots? Maybe. But I'd rather just, you know what? I feel like I should be in control of the things that I'm doing. So, it should have been easy to just make better shots.
Well, we are getting fairly close to wrapping it up. It looks like we're about halfway, pretty well right on halfway through game 3. James has got a good game going. Dave's got a good game going. I am at least not falling apart. It's a good shot from Ryan. He was so mad. Yeah, he saw it again. That's exactly what he was. After stoning that 7-pin and then whiffing it. It's like, yeah, I just knew it was going to happen again there. I think this will be another strike. Dave went pretty big this last game. Yeah, another good one. He's just putting it out there and letting it. He's giving it the Chris Barnes. He's just kind of flipping it out there and letting it stop and head straight for the pocket. That's a good shot. Oh, and it's going to hook on him again. I didn't realize that Derek threw the ball this good this set. It's really easy to look up at the score and think, oh, okay, well, you know, they had a rough day too. Well, he had a rough day for a completely different reason than I did. He just could not get lined up, but he made great shots this whole time. There. I'm not entirely sure. I'm really not sure what that does. I know what you mean because, yeah, sometimes, and the other thing is some people don't cut their pads down. I know that the heel's really hard to cut down, but some people just kind of put their soles and heels on and they let them just kind of flap on one side. But I don't know why. I think that it does kind of change the traction property, especially on the stickier ones or the kind of ribbed ones. Like the ones that have kind of the hills and valleys or the kind of ridges on the bottom. I think that it is something about if you turn one of those around, like a 5 heel or something like that, I think has those ridges. And I think if you turn it around, one way is a little bit more slide and one way is a little bit less slide, but it's not as different as going to a completely different heel. So I think that I think that it doesn't necessarily just lessen the slide. I think it adjusts it one way or the other. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, they don't turn like the 7 around because it's the same way the front way or the back way. But like 2 and the 5, I think it does change the slide a little bit. So yeah, I think you were already kind of onto it there. All right, decent walk up. There we go. Good shot. That was actually a good shot. I'm definitely making better shots now, but yes, but Nationals is generally tough enough that I think he killed the forward brackets too, because 215 is, I killed both of them in singles, going 220, high 210. Generally speaking, if you can go, there was one year, hilarious, well, Syracuse actually, in doubles and singles, my low game was like 195 and my high game was 211 or 212. I shot a couple of 6.0s or like 606, 612 or something, and I tripled up in brackets because I think it's just one of those things where as long as you don't have that 160 or 170 game in there, because obviously my forward brackets were completely screwed by that 150. I almost broke even this squad, I think, actually, for shooting 540. I think I actually broke even this squad, or close to it. I didn't lose as much money as I thought I was going to lose, let me put it that way.
Hi, baby. What are you doing? Did you miss me? Homer. Homer. Hey, doggy. I know. It's almost bedtime, isn't it? Yes, it is. I know. I know, you're a good Tweety bird.
Waswo, tickling him. Yeah. I think I asked him at that point, I was like, is that horseshoe starting to get a little uncomfortable there? I think I about see one end of it sticking out your mouth. Oh, Derek, man. He's so... Derek's so over it. Oh, fun fact. Derek is like a borderline DDR pro. Dance Dance Revolution. He is extremely, extremely good at DDR. Like he goes to national competitions and stuff for it. So that's why he's in like perfect shape. Probably less frustrating than bowling. Yep. Malcolm knows. Rush. Yeah. Ruby? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, look, I shot 180 something, like 189 this game. So I don't think I ever really put anything together. It's just after that big four, I kind of mostly just stayed out of trouble and filled frames. That was terrible. God, that was gonna be good. I think I spared this. That was gonna be good until I just didn't let go of it. New high score. Is that bad? Does that mean, did I break it? I get the reference. I'm JP. I am a robot. I can't finish the quote on YouTube. No. With the plastic ball, done. But I can't remember why I wasn't throwing. I think it was sticking a little or something. Or the grips were a little tight. My hand might have been a little swollen or something. I can't remember why I wasn't. I just don't think the plastic ball was coming off my hand the right way. Is why I was throwing the pitch black and this other stuff. No, didn't film this. You can actually, they will film this for you, basically. So they set up a camera, and then because you're not allowed to take your own video at Nationals, but they have a service where they will record your squads for premium, and then as soon as the tournament's over, then they will make them available to you. not necessarily in trouble, but yes. Like it's even down to, like I'm a storm staffer, so I need to use storm bags, storm chamois, whatever storm that I can actually use. Like they don't want me to use the Roto Grip backpack. They don't want me to use 900 global tournament bag or bowling bags. They don't want me. I mean, I shouldn't even be using the Zen chamois that I am, but it's too cool to not use. So I'm a rebel. No, yeah. Yeah, Gabby's like, again? Yes, they are very, very notorious about, that you can't video anything. You can't even, they eyeball you as soon as you take your phone out. And so, yeah. And that's the other, they will video it for you, but again, they won't send it to you until after the entire tournament's over. So we bowled in April, and we just now, a couple days ago, got yeah. So yeah, we bowled 4 months ago. So that's why I made reference to when I was not throwing it great and I'm throwing it better now and whatever else. This was a while ago. So yeah, you can't film yourself, but if you give us $100, we'll do it for you. Yeah, pretty much. Can't get your own video. We will sell it to you, though. Yeah, $100 to film. How much to buy a focus button? Yeah, it's $100 per set, or it's $100 per day to film in 720p, and then make you download it from Vimeo. Oh, yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody sticking with me thus far. We've had a pretty good turnout, and we've had about the same numbers the whole time, so it looks like most people have been here for the majority. Yep, thanks, Gabby. She said, come on, Luke. I'm probably not going to come on, but... okay. Looking good. Oh, this one's going to be okay. It was okay. I just threw... You see, she just said, come on, pork chop. Oh, man. Well, that was good until I just didn't throw it very hard. I know that I make this one, though. That wasn't a great shot at that, but I'll take it. I do. I'll get some redemption tomorrow until the last 2 frames of singles. Yeah. Yeah, in singles, I had like 720 on the board in the 7th frame of the 3rd game.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I did not shoot 720. Oh, Chaswick. He had to move in a little bit. I think that's what this has happened to him the last couple years. In one set or another, he has a great look and then just kind of loses it. There you go, Ram. Whoops. Oh, yeah. Good 9, good 9. Oh my God. Okay, so I just remembered. Who's the cheerleader I keep hearing in the background? That's Dave Waslow's daughter. So the other thing that kept driving me insane. So watch the second set of tracers. I got faked out a couple times by this because the sweep will go up and then drop back down and shake and then raise back up. And so all the lights did was flicker off of that second set of tracer boards the entire time. Drove me insane. Watch it on 50 here now. Watch the second set of tracer boards. The sweep. Oh, yeah, Jason kind of felt it. It goes up. Didn't do it that time. Okay, well, watch on Jason's side. It's going to go. When does it do it? I think once it sets the rack. So it goes up. Okay, as soon as I say something, it doesn't do it. Just keep. No. I just remembered because I saw it do it. It's on second ball. Second balls only. Okay. It kept faking me out. Did it go up and then come back down and then go back up? But even then, the sweep bounced the whole time, and so the lights just flickered. Yeah, like I'm 48. It's just. I think I handled it okay in doubles and singles, but I do remember it irritating me significantly in teen. Of course, everything irritated me significantly in teen. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's like the third or fourth one of those that he went really high on in Trip. All right, on second balls only, let's see here. Lane 50. And I think I'd be like getting ready to get up on the other lane. And you see it comes down and goes back up. And so I think I'd be on like lanes next to it when it happens. And I'd get ready to start. And then I'd see the light flicker. Ugh. And it would just be one of those, startle you out of the corner of your eye type deals. I had a lot of second balls on team, unfortunately. Yeah, me too. Me too. I think it was this point where Chaz went to a different Purple Hammer. He brought like 3 of them. I think he brought like 3 or 4 Purple Hammers and plastic. Decent. Looks pretty good. I came out of it clean. Yeah. With a look like that, how did I not shoot 750? Like it just 0. Yeah, I know. That's what I've been saying the whole time. But that's also why I didn't make a ball change or move at all, because I'm like, well, this is just like the perfect line. And they gave a lefty straight up 5 and he couldn't hit it. Bill Burr can't even tell jokes that good. Jason kind of had the wheels fall off this game. He just had a couple shots that didn't quite work out, and then missed a couple spares, and it just snowballed. There we go. Brush. You always know what you should have been doing after it's over. Hook. No. We're done. That focus button again. We are now into the 10th frame. Guy on 48 throws a good ball. Let's see what Santa Claus does here. Good shot. Rush. Recalculating here. See how he's gonna trip the Greek church this time. That's pretty good. Get up, get up. Oh, yeah. I think he shoots this, though. Maybe not. He had a really good game up to that point. I think, yeah, this might just be a... just finally ran out of gas. Yep, Gabby's disappointed. That's okay. Dad shot like 714 or 720 or something. So they've had a great set. And that's another thing is that you can look at it as well. He got lucky several times that last game. It's like, well, I've said this before on videos. If you're in the right place with the right ball, making good shots, you earn your luck. Another good shot. Whoa. Yeah, I remember we all looked at that. Like, yeah, that's a great show. Oh, wait, hang on. He found that spot. But no, if you're in the right place with the right ball, doing the right things, throwing decent shots, you earn your way into hits like that. You don't just I don't really buy luck too much. Sometimes there is an element of luck. And sometimes you are lined up in the right place, doing the right things, making good shots. It just doesn't work out. But more often than not, it works out. All right. Big move in. Oh, wow. It is at that point we should have realized, yes, this is fire and not ice. Jonathan Hawes in the house. You missed all of it, but you were probably doing something much more entertaining. Bill O'Neill versus Jacob Butcher, if the players would like a word. Yeah. Poor Billy. Poor Billy. But the left is walled, so there is that. Bruce. There we go.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, it's funny. I didn't even think about it until last spring, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wait,
Yeah. Yeah, meanwhile, the rest of the building's done, and we're getting stared at by everybody on the concourse. They already have 2 or 3 lane machines going elsewhere. And so everybody goes, oh, yeah, this must be the good bowlers over here taking forever finishing. It's like, no lane monitors, 9 ball return calls. Oh, you're at a 5-year-old's birthday party. Sweet.
I couldn't tell. I was like, when it's time, when it's about time to leave, no. We're like, are you gonna drive? No. Why are you gonna
There you go.
drive?
He's ready to be done.
Don't lose them. Forward set of keys with Ross.
Now let's. Yep, this is exactly why you burn the ditch up and stay right in the first game, so that you can throw it at 52 and still strike. So, yeah. That is exactly why you do that. Because you also tend to make better shots when you're more comfortable. If you feel like you're bowling in a phone booth, you get tight. You make bad shots. All right. I didn't open in the 10th. I know that much. That's a pretty decent shot. I don't think I carried. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. Yeah, so it's at this point, it's like, okay, I don't even care what happens now. I'm not opening the 10th frame, so. All I wanted to do was not open the 10th frame. And, of course, at that time, we're staring down, you know, because Dave shot 240. James shot 268, I believe. 269. And I'm looking up there at what we can get to, and I'm like, just don't open. Just don't open, and we get to a decent number. Shoved it. Terrible shot. Did not open the 10th frame. Yep, thanks for watching. We will do doubles and singles tomorrow. James and I bowled with Charles here and Dallas Baldridge. So you won't see the whole crew, but you will see me and James because we bowled doubles together, and then Chaz and Dallas. Sweet. So good. Mini Diesel would like for family, yeah. All right. Hope the scores stay on there for a minute. So I'll let them get. Wait until he zooms in. Wow. Man, everybody else brought their horseshoes but me. Yep, thanks, Memphis. We will see y'all tomorrow. Do a little score recap here at the end, and then we're off to nighty night. Zing, crush. Yep, see you, Malcolm. See y'all. I'm going to just say 6 o'clock tomorrow. Here we go. Zooming in on the final scores here. So, yeah, Jason just had problems the last game. But he shot 240 the first game. So, he still ended up at 570, 580-ish. Waswo shot 240. He ended up at, because he went 230, 230, 240. So he ended up the 715, 720, something like that. 192 for Bruce. So he was in the 560s, 570 range or something. James, aside from that, just that 10 in the second when somebody yelled in his backswing, 268 for 760-ish, 767, 770, something, whatever. And then, of course, I couldn't get away from splits. I shot 540, so really, really helped the team out there. But it could have been worse. I mean, I could have shot 5.0. Those guys could have not shot 720 and 760, and sometimes that's just how it goes. I've had some pretty good sets, and had some teammates had rough days, and so it happens to everybody. So there's no, you can always look at it and woulda, shoulda, coulda, but if you were the one that has the rough day, you don't want to be, you don't want somebody else looking down on you when they had a good day, and so don't be that person when you have a good day to complain about somebody else having a bad day. It just happens. You get used to it. So the other team, 2884, 170 for Ramsden, 216 for Ryan Klaus, 183 for Derek, who bowled a whole lot better than he scored. 189 for Dallas, 176 for Chaz. Again, Chaz just kind of lost the look the last game, and he shot 2-0, or he shot 6-0 or something like that. So yeah, that was our team set. I am going to upload it. I do have to stitch the videos together because they were filmed individually by game. So I do have to stitch this all together, but I will put this up on YouTube, just, unedited, no commentary, just to take a look if you want to take a look. But otherwise, we will see you for doubles and singles next time. Appreciate everybody hanging out. And I'm just going to go on ahead and get off this thing, let everybody get to bed, or go watch some UFC or what have you. So, yeah. We